there, and welcome to another wonderful episode of the Reflection Show. My name is Martha Anabila. I believe that a lot of us have seen pregnant women who have had complications, maybe concerning their diet or about to give birth or anything. And sometimes we wonder what food, or let me say nutrition, has a role to play when a woman is pregnant. I have come to understand that nutrition is a very vital information that every woman needs to know, needs to understand, and not just women, their husbands or our husbands. You need to understand that nutrition for a woman when she's pregnant is very important, not just the baby, because if she doesn't eat well, the baby will not come out well. So we all need to support every woman who is pregnant, or even before she gets pregnant and after she has put to bed, the kind of food she has to eat that will make her stay strong and stay healthy for all of us. Today we'll be looking at nutrition in pregnancy. I have been joined in my studio by Mrs. Felicia Danso. She is the head of nutrition at the Tamale Central Hospital here in Tamale in the northern region, and Miss Jennifer Amoakon. She's a student nutritionist here at the University for Development Studies. We will all be helping us understand what nutrition is all about, what we need to understand, what we have to do. So much. We are going to have a very wonderful and long conversation. So please stay glued to your TV sets, because this discussion is something that will propel you to have a wonderful marriage life, and also while you are pregnant. Let's go for a break. When we are back, we delve into the discussion. Do stay tuned.
Yele. Praise the Lord. Are you ready? Okay.
Like a rainbow, so my life made colorful. If you don't know, a life with this man is beautiful. Sing to the glory of God.
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 It's He I know. Everywhere I go, it's He I see. Anything I do, it's He I go. Seeking first all things.
Welcome back from the break. I'll be speaking about, all my guests and I will be looking at nutrition in pregnancy. Tell a friend to tune into this channel, because it's going to be an amazing discussion. Welcome this to the show.
Thank you.
We've seen, or we've heard about nutrition, and we've seen that a lot of women, especially pregnant women, have fallen victim to not having good nutrition when they are pregnant, and this has affected they themselves and their babies. Let me start with Mrs. Felicia Danso. What is nutrition all about? How do we understand this predicament? And yeah, that is malnutrition, but let's look at the nutrition itself.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. Nutrition is actually a science where we study the nutrients in the food and how those nutrients impact the life processes. And so it will help us to understand what nutrients would one need to be able to grow better from the womb to the tomb. So we have something we call nutrition throughout the life cycle, right? So beginning from the womb, and I'm happy today we are going to discuss nutrition in pregnancy. So beginning from the womb, what are the nutrients requirements in pregnancy? Such that the pregnant woman will be able to go through pregnancy successfully. Then also, nutrition also helps us to understand the relationship between our diets, our health, and diseases. So nutrition goes beyond just the food you are eating. So we are not just eating food, but we are interested in the nutrients that food is going to provide for the body, so that the body can be, can go through the life processes, or your body will be able to be sustained. Right. So gone are the days where we used to just think that eating to fill the stomach, it's nutrition or good nutrition. Things are evolving, evidence is coming out, so we are going beyond just eating, but seeing what am I eating, how much of it should I eat, when should I eat it, and what is it going to provide my body with. So if I'm getting it in excesses, then I need to be cautious. If I'm not getting enough, then that means that my body will be lacking, and that's what we normally call, you will be deficient in those particular nutrients. So as we go on, we'll be able to expound on these nutrients, and then see how we can be able to make justice to it.
Okay, let me just come to Jennifer. Anything to add up to that?
That's everything she actually said. The thing is that it depends on the things you eat. Well, in school we were taught that you are what you eat, and your food should be your medicine, and your medicine should be your food. So if you are even taking medicines and then you are not eating well, your food intake is very low, and you are not eating balanced diet, you become deficient.
So Madam Fisher, why is this a major concern? I believe that nutrition is good for everyone, but why do we always pay extra attention to this in pregnant women?
Right, so it becomes very vital for us to pay particular attention in pregnancy, because in pregnancy a woman needs the nutrients for her own body and also to take care of the developing fetus. So when the woman is unable to have access to a diet that will provide her body with the required nutrients that will support her own life and that of the developing fetus, then it becomes an area of concern. So you realize that it is the nutrients in the foods that will help an individual to grow. So if the nutrients in your food is what is going to help you to grow, then the nutrients, for me, I'll just briefly say that it's like the building blocks. So in pregnancy, it is the nutrients that will help this fetus to develop. It's the nutrients that will help the blood to form. It is the nutrients that will help the bones to form, to develop. It's the nutrients that will help the brains to develop. So if at any point in time there are deficiencies or inadequacies, then it is going to impact on the development of the fetus. You, the mother yourself, will be unable to remain healthy to go through the pregnancy. So it becomes an area where we pay particular attention to. Now, in pregnancy, let's say the woman needs to prepare herself even before pregnancy sets in. But many a times we don't do that. We just
realize we are pregnant.
We just realize we are pregnant. And the moment at which you realize you are pregnant, conception has already taken place. The fetus has already developed to about 8 weeks. It is mostly after 8 weeks that women start feeling the symptoms. And the first 8 weeks are the very critical moments of the fetal development. So I don't know, I should begin preparing myself.
Yes.
So yes. So in maternal nutrition, there are two main nutrients that are very vital when it comes to the development of the fetus. All nutrients are important, but I'll just single out two. We have the folates, and mostly the synthetic form is the folic acid, but in this natural form is the folate. Then we have iron. These two are very, very important when it comes to pregnancy. So as I said, folic acid and iron, they are very, very vital. The folic acid helps the baby to be able, I mean, in terms of development, sometimes when you lack folic acid, in fact, not sometimes, when there's a deficiency in folic acid, there are some abnormalities that would present itself during the development. One of it is a spinal bifida. So you have a baby, you give birth to a baby, and you realize that the baby have challenges, okay? But these ones can be prevented if folic acid is taken.
So it
okay?
means that once I'm a woman who is sexually active, or let me say married, for the moral people, when you get married and you know that at any point in time you should be expecting a baby, it is good to actually make sure that the iron and the folic acid you take in, it's in the right quantity.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So you see, iron is very vital when it comes to productivity. Okay. And then it is the iron that helps the body to form the blood. I get me. And it's the blood that carries oxygen to all parts of the body. So now, if your iron levels are low, your iron stores are low, that means that oxygen carrying capacity is reduced. So you are unable to be productive. Okay. It also affects, fertility, because the fetus is blood. I get me. It starts as a clot of blood.
Wow.
So if the blood stores are inadequate, you realize that already you are starting at a negative side. I get it. And in public health, anemia, nutritional anemia, is an indicator that helps us to know how a country is developing. It tells the health of the population. Okay. Now, globally, it said that anemia in pregnant women 15 to 49 years is in the areas of 40% of populations are anemic. And not just ordinary population, but women are anemic. Now, imagine an anemic woman picking seed.
That's like so much stress on her health.
Wonderful. So what do we have to do now? Because I'm in the service, I'll just be chipping in one or two things that are of public health concern. Now, we notice that many people don't even come to the facility early enough for us to begin the care process.
That is the antenatal
the
care.
Antenatal care.
Okay.
So, and it's the girls that get pregnant. So if they are not presenting themselves early, what can be done?
Because sometimes they are so scared, and between the first 1 to 3 months, they are thinking whether they should keep the baby or they should go for an abortion. So I wouldn't want to come and you say, okay, keep it because of that. So it's really a major concern.
Yes.
And I'm happy you are tackling that as well.
Wonderful. So we need to prepare our girl children early for the future.
Yeah.
We don't wait till they get there, then we have to start late. So there is a program called the GIFTS, Girls Iron Folic Acid Tablet Supplementation.
Wow.
It's a program that is helping to be able to boost the iron, reduce anemia among women and girls in schools. So for every week, a girl is given a tablet.
Okay, I think
there are some brown tablets, but there are so many misconceptions around it. People are claiming it's family planning we are giving to the kids, but trust me, those are iron tablets, folic acid and iron, to help the young girls, be able to have enough iron stores for them to be able to go through school during menstruation. We lose blood during menstruation. So if we are losing blood and we are not replenishing it, then we are at a disadvantage. You get me? So we are preparing them early. So once your body is being prepared, the stores are building up. Any moment you get pregnant, your body has enough stores to begin the pregnancy with. Also know that in early pregnancy there are morning sickness. It becomes a stage where women are able to eat. Some of them are unable to eat. so they are able to, get nutrients that will be able to help them through the very early but critical phase of the pregnancy.
Okay.
Yeah. So once you have enough stores and those moments come in, the body would rely on the saved ones to take you through that phase
before you are able
Before
to
you are
eat. So it
able to-
means that every woman needs to take nutrition seriously at an early stage,
as
you
early
start
as
even
possible.
yes
As
yeah. So right now, if maybe you are watching and you don't really take care of yourself, and it's always about what we put on our skin. I think that it has come to a time that I think folic acid is not so much. It's not expensive.
No,
you can
it's not.
just get folic acid. I take folic acid every day, and I've seen so much in improvement in my health. So yeah, I will come back a bit to you, but before that, any tips on how Jennifer, like when you get pregnant or when a woman gets pregnant, any major tips on how she should really look out for how to keep out herself, especially for the baby?
Firstly, when you find out you're pregnant, the first thing you're supposed to do is go to the hospital for antenatal. You go for checkups, and then the nurses or the nutritionists will give you tips on how to manage yourself
Okay.
at the beginning, because at the beginning it's usually the critical stage. So once you're able to go through the first period, the first trimester, you become okay, and then you continue from there.
Okay. So I wanted to go for a break, but when we come back, we'll be looking at, it's not everybody that have the morning stage. Some can eat.
Sure.
I know some pregnant women that can eat very, like, if that is actually what opens up their appetite when they are pregnant. So we'll look at the first trimester. I think let's break it into stages. What are some of the food that you have to eat? Let's go for a break. We'll be right back.
Books by Pastor A.L. Fant. They are inspired by the Holy Spirit, simple to comprehend, relevant in application, and so lovely to read. Grab copies like Dynamics of Kingdom Influence, Dynamics of Ministry, Mark is King for Church Workers, Money Matters, and she calls herself a woman. This marriage must work. No more curses. Loaded mouth. Secrets of kingdom dominion. The exploits of service. Things fall apart. Church without bleeding pulpit. Singles mingle, and many more.
Welcome back from the break. We are looking at pregnancy and nutrition, how pregnant women can make sure that they eat very well. Me, I've always said that when I get pregnant, I want to eat well, very well. But a lot of pregnant women, I don't know why, they get pregnant and they lose a lot of appetite. Get some appetizers, okay? Is that recommended? I'm just saying my opinion. Please, let's listen to the expert. So yes, I want us to look at the stages. So maybe I find out that I'm pregnant. Mostly people find out the first 2 weeks, the first 1 month, first 2 months, or the first 3 months. So when I find out that I'm pregnant, what are some of the nutritional foods I need to be conscious of so that my baby can stay in shape for me?
Right. So when you notice you are pregnant, the first thing is to come to the health facility. Once you report early, you'll be taken through the early stages. Then you'll be required, you'll be referred to see a nutritionist to counsel you on the diet that you are supposed to be on.
Okay.
We don't have a one straight jacket diet for all persons. So that's where the counseling comes in.
So it depends on
it's tailored. It's
Okay.
tailored to meet your current situation.
Is it by
And
age?
It's by age, it's by your income, it's by what you are comfortable with. But we look at what is required for the pregnancy. There are modifications that can be done to meet your particular need. Okay, yes. So, but we have a diet plan we call the 4-star diet. Okay, regardless of who you are, pregnant woman, an adult, an infant.
Okay.
The 4-star diet would meet your needs. Okay, but it is tailored. I mean, it's age specific. I get me. So, for example, a woman reports to the facility. It is required that in all the pregnancy term, you at least, if you haven't met a nutritionist, at least 3 times in the pregnancy.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Hey,
so for the first
how many
trimester,
of you see a nutritionist when you are pregnant?
for the first trimester, at least once. If there are challenges, we would meet you. We will schedule more visits to be able to address that problem. Second trimester, another visit, and a third trimester, another visit. So it's quite new, but we are trying. You know, nutrition is an area that many people haven't paid very particular attention to.
Yeah.
People just think that once I eat and I'm satisfied and I belch, that's okay.
That's
I've
fine.
had my good meal. But it goes beyond that,
Okay.
and that is where you will need the expert advice or intervention. So you report early, get so that you get started right. Okay, so you have come, and like I mentioned, your HB is very, very important when it comes to pregnancy. So once
HB is what?
your hemoglobin level,
Ah.
that is the blood level, the iron stores. Okay.
So when you are ending it, that just it's the blood. So it may be if I'm O positive, A positive, B plus. Does that also count in the kind of food I have to eat when I'm pregnant?
Right. So that is an area that for me personally, I'm very cautious when I'm discussing these areas because there are several schools of thoughts.
Okay.
You know, you just don't speak, but you need to have evidence to back what you are talking about. Yes. So there's one school of thoughts that believes that your blood group must meet particular diets. There's another school of thought that says that, look, it is not very, very essential. It's important, but you must not be very concerned about what do I need for my blood type, because there isn't enough evidence to back such claims. But the ABO, I mean the blood group and the diet thing, is formulated mainly around plant-based foods. So regardless of my blood group, if my meal is a variety and not just centered on one particular source of food, but I am particular about ensuring that there is variety in my meal, I would benefit from all food groups.
Okay.
And that would meet my requirements, my needs. Okay.
That's whether you are even pregnant or not.
Or
when
not.
you eat those things, you are
Just that in pregnancy, the requirements increase. So we normally, depending on your current intake. There are some people, their current intake and their weight and height, if you do the composition, their BMI, they are okay. Okay, they are okay.
Yeah.
There are some too, they are underweight. So we need to be able to help them to come up to the normal levels that can sustain the pregnancy. So for such a person, we would make certain recommendations, at least add an extra meal. And when we say add an extra meal, we are not saying get a very big bowl of food and add, you know.
For example, where I take 2 or 3 balls of banku and say, okay, I have to add an extra meal.
That will be increasing the energy content. You know, in nutrition, we are looking at nutrient density versus energy density. Many at times, our focus is on the energy density, not the nutrient density. Okay, so we are looking at nutrient density. So what's an extra meal? It can be a snack. And mind you, here snacks are not talking about the fizzy drinks, I don't want to mention any products here,
Yeah.
but the colored drinks and things. No.
This day, you just see any kind of drink in a bottle, and I think
so.
we need
There's
to be
one
careful
of my
that.
mentors who says that they come in several shapes, colors, and sizes.
Yeah, that's
You know?
very true.
We are not talking about those ones. We are looking at you know, one of the things that is mostly missing in our diets are the fruits and the vegetables. So in nutrition counseling, we focus on including snacks of fruits
Okay.
and vegetables. That is where many of the minerals and vitamins are in. Okay, yes, so that your body will be able to get enough of those. So you can have banana as a snack. You can have granuts as a snack. You can have kose as a snack. You get me? It's not pie or biscuits or something, because we have traditionally come to be snacks are made of those ones. But mainly they are mainly made of flour. And flour is what? Carbohydrates. So you only be boosting your carbohydrate intake to the neglect of your proteins, your vitamins, and your minerals. And those ones are mainly in the fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Okay, right. So let me just take you through why it is essential that you speak to a nutritionist.
Yeah.
Okay. Depending on the phase of the pregnancy. So mainly pregnancy can be divided into two phases. We have the embryonic phase, that is mostly before the 8 weeks. And like I was mentioning earlier, that is the period where the central nervous system is forming. Then the heartbeat of the child begins within that period. Then also the digestive system of the child is developing.
Yeah.
Great. Then the fingers, the toes, the facial structure begins to form around that side. So if you don't take particular attention about nutrient density and you're focusing on energy, just eating to fill the stomach, then the nutrients that will be required for these very delicate organs to be formed are deficient. You would give birth to a baby that you yourself will not be happy that you have
So
carried
some of
such a baby.
the babies that we see that are deficient can be a cause of some of these things.
Yes.
If you give it to a child and maybe the eye or the nose has a problem, sometimes even the toe. So it can be like nutrition is
forms key.
Oh, wow.
It's like the life. It's like, I say it's a building block.
So those of us who have been blaming witches and wizards in our families, today we have come to learn and understand that nutrition can solve all those problems if you make it a very important tool to know and to learn. Know that it is not everything that is spiritual, but how you start eating even before you get pregnant, while you are pregnant, can really help the child grow.
Yes. Then from the 8 weeks then we move to the other stage of the other phase, which is the I wrote it, the fetal development phase. That's more than 8 weeks. Now, in those periods, you can have the genitals of the baby form. Okay. Then the kidney begins to process extra fluids. Okay. Then the liver begins to function. Then the bones begin to harden. Okay, after 8 weeks. So many times when you go and do a scan after 8 weeks, they can tell you the sex of the baby. Okay. Now,
but sometimes we go and then, when I say we, know me, like I hear I've never been pregnant. We hear people say, okay, when they say it's a boy, but it came out as a girl. Is it that you overate and the nutrients change?
Sometimes the position. Okay. You know, I'm not technical in that area, but it's the positioning. So if you don't get somebody who is able to, do it well, and most times they are not. Sometimes we are so interested in particular sexes. So once they tell you the sex early, then you just give up. That's not the sex I'm looking for. So we cry. It's a border pregnancy. So we don't normally want to do that. Yes, right. So we are moving on to how a pregnant woman should eat. These are the processes that is going
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
And that tells you that you can play a critical role in how your baby is formed. Okay. So the moment you know you are pregnant, you need to now take, the choices of food
Let's go.
begins to be very, very important. Now you see I'm holding a book.
Okay.
This is the Maternal and Child Health Record Book.
Okay. Let's zoom a bit into the. Okay, I think it's clear now.
Yes. This book contains, in fact, almost every information that a pregnant woman, the husband, and the family would need.
Maternal and health.
Maternal
and child health record book.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the book that we would use to keep all information about your pregnancy
Okay.
till you give birth until the child is 5 years old. This book will
Wow.
contain every information in it. So I'm just going to open to the page that talks about the maternal nutrition, how to eat well during pregnancy. Now, in there, it says that eat 1 extra meal each day, 4 meals a day,
Wow.
and snack such as fruits, roasted maize, plantain, groundnuts. So you saw that I was saying the snacks.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. To stay healthy. Then the second point says that the meals to be taken should be prepared from a variety of foods. And we have, in the past we used to talk so much about balanced diet. Somebody asks you, how should my diet be balanced? How balanced should a balanced diet be? So we have tried, the Ghana Health Service have tried to make it very simple, okay, for whether you are learned or not, to have, when you just go through it, you'll be able to see. So we call it the 4-star diet. Now, a star represents a particular food group, the major nutrients that your food group will provide for your body. So we have the staples, which is mainly the carbohydrates.
Okay.
The maize, the millet, rice, sorghum, plantain, cocoyam, all those ones are in the staple group. That is 1 star. Then we have the legumes and seeds. That is also another star.
Okay.
So granite, beans, agushi, and sesame, just name them. That's another star. Then we have the animal source foods. That is also another star. So we have chicken, fish, egg, milk, and milk products, all of that. Then we have the fruits and vegetables. That is also another star. So just name them: our dark green leafy vegetables, then our pineapples, oranges, melons, tomatoes. They are in the fruits and vegetables. That's another star. So I will just do this so the camera can zoom in and let our viewers see.
Can you lift it up a
Okay.
bit? Let's have
this side.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Okay, so we are trying to see how we can zoom for you to see this, but like she's saying, it's a maternal and child health record book. So I believe that if you've ever been to the hospital while you are pregnant, you would have come across this book. And as you can see, we have the
4-star.
Yes, the 4-star groups of food, and you can even Google them. These days, social media is just there. Just go on Google and just check. Maybe if you are pregnant, some of the foods you have to eat, or some of the things you have to stay away from. That would help you to stay healthy for yourself and also stay healthy for your baby. And like she said, this book is not just while you are pregnant. So at any point in time, if you have this book and someone just picked it up, the person will even know what you've been doing by the time you got pregnant or the time the child is 5 years old. So please make good use of this episode as you are watching. Go and learn more about nutrition. See your nutritionist and make sure that they counsel you per your system. Not just everything we are saying here, because it will not apply to everyone, but just for you to understand that you need to make a conscious effort about your nutrition while you are pregnant?
Yes, so going on, for you to be able to eat variety, then for each meal you are eating, we should be able to see each star in your plate.
Okay.
So if you are eating TZs, okay, I know for the energy one, the carbohydrate parts,
It's
I know
common.
the
The
constant.
Banku,
Yes,
the
it's
Caesar,
there.
the Akpele, the King Cake.
Wonderful. So that one, we don't miss those ones. So the areas that we'll be concentrating on is the legumes, the animal source proteins, and the fruits and vegetables. So just give me an example of a meal, and I'll show you how we can
Okay.
get a 4-star diet out of
And
that.
so, let's say Caesars with brass soup.
Good.
That's my favorite though.
Okay, so let's see if your food.
So Caesars
Meat.
with brass soup. Let me say with you see, you put some shea butter inside the brass. I'm a farmer, so you put some shea butter in the
I
brass
thought it
soup.
goes with the ayoyo and the okru base.
No,
but it
no,
can
no.
go
We
in-
put shea butter in the brass soup so that it
Wonderful.
melts on top, and you can take some bush meat with it or some guinea fowl. Oh, Charlie.
Okay, so let's see.
Yeah,
if
so how
your,
do I-
your
yeah.
food is a
It's
4-star
food,
diet.
yeah.
Yes. So your TZ is there.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you made
So
it
it
from
can come with millet
yeah, any.
or maize teasers,
Mhm.
or there's one other one. You know, there's this
The
wine colored tea. I've forgotten the name. But let's
sorghum.
Yeah,
Sorghum.
sorghum. Yes, yes. Also comes.
All right. So any of that is a staple. Okay. Now we come to the soup. It's bira.
Yes,
Now bira, I know granuts
yes. So
is in there.
there's maize in it. I don't know how, because sometimes we blend normal maize, blend granuts. That's what you
And you
use
mix
to
it.
mix before you put the bra inside.
Okay.
Some
Now
use what's the name? Granite paste.
granite paste.
But the local one,
yeah, just
pound
pound
the
the
ground.
granuts.
just pound the granite, you pound the maize, and you add some dawa dawa.
Okay, so let me go with the maize and the granite one, and
Okay.
I'll show you something there. Now, we have in the soup, we are having a carbohydrate in the soup.
Yes.
That's the maize. And then we have the granuts, which
Okay.
is the legume.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we need to be cautious here. If the proportion, I mean the quantity of your maize and granuts, if the maize overshadows your granuts, you are increasing the energy content of your food
Hey.
and reducing the legume content, the
of my-
protein, the plant
Because
protein.
the tislet alone too is
It's having more carbo.
okay. So you can
it's-
use more granuts and just a little of the maize. Okay.
Others equally use only the granuts.
Yes.
Okay. For the soup.
Because of the season.
Yes, you get it. So we have the legume inside there. So TZ is 1-star. The granuts gives it another star. So your meal, that's a 2-star. We are moving. Now, in your soup, you have the vegetable. Okay. So if it's the bira or the alefu in there, so that one we can pick it out as another star, leafy vegetable. Okay. So we have had 3-star diets. Now let's go to the protein side. I mean the animal source protein. That is where we normally have a lot of issues.
Wow.
Many people are not consuming the animal protein. When I say many people, pregnant women. In our setting, most
They
of the
say
times
if
you need
eat
the
meat when you are pregnant, your
Child
baby
will
will grow up being a thief.
That's not right.
Ah.
If not, many of us would have been thieves walking around. I get me. But the animal source protein, that's the hemp. Those ones, the iron in there directly absorbed by the body.
Okay.
I get me. But that is what we neglect. Okay.
So a lot of pregnant women are not eating meat products or animal kind of products.
and that's the easily absorbable form of iron can be gotten from the animal source proteins. I get it. So I'm assuming that in yours you would have pounded some amani.
Yes.
Inside
Hey, I forgot
there.
that one.
Oh, you
Yes,
forgot that
yes,
one.
yes, yes.
So once we have some amani in there, fine, it can make do for the animal source protein. But in counseling, we say that what you have not been able to see with your eye, for when I'm doing my counseling, I ask you the meat, the amani. If you are not able to see it with your eye to pick, though it's inside, it's good. But once you're able to see and pick it and eat it, then I'm certain
so we
that
shouldn't blend it like powder form. Yes, I get that. People usually blend it becomes so powdery.
you can do that equally. But what I'm trying to drive at is that, you see, sometimes the family sizes are very big, large family size. So you just pound a little amount of it, and you know, and just put it in there. It disappears in the ocean of soup. I get it. Though there's some little traces, but that is not enough.
It's not.
It
doesn't even go anywhere.
It doesn't go anywhere.
The family size.
Yes. So for the pregnant woman, you should leave some whole amani inside there, so that when you serve the larger soup, you can put some 2 or 3 amani.
Or they just prepare their soup separately.
That becomes difficult. You know, you'll be adding a burden on the family. We don't want a situation whereby, attaining good nutrition becomes problematic. It's like, quote unquote, some very expensive thing. Nutrition is not too expensive. You get it? You can get your diet can be upped within your locality. Very simple things. We don't need to be looking at very, very complex meals. I get it.
I want us to take a break, and then when we are back, we'll continue. Do stay tuned.
Savannah International Academy is an international school located in Tamale, Ghana. We award the Cambridge IGCSE and A-level certificate. Running parallel is SIA4, our curriculum enrichment program. SIA, nurturing the next generation of African leaders. SIA, thinking global, acting local. Give your child a holistic education at SIA. Contact us now.
Welcome back from the break. We are still looking at nutrition in pregnancy, and I'm really learning so much because this is something that I have actually seen a lot of pregnant women fall victim to. They get pregnant and they don't even care about what they eat, with the notion that, it's God that takes care of our kids. But you give birth and the child now had some complications. I want to say a very big thank you to the Pet Beauty Salon for my hair, Annie's Collections for my shoes, and then also to the Northern Community Eye Hospital here in Tamale. You can get their details on the screen. So they serve us with amazing eye care services. So if you want general eye screening, SLT is a new glaucoma treatment that saves you from anti-glaucoma eye drops. They are the only eye care facility with a machine. Well, go there and see for yourself. If you have cataract and you want them to operate on it or to help you, or you want glasses to read, or you have any eye condition and you're looking for the perfect place to give you nothing but the eye care solution, please go to Northern Community Eye Hospital here in Tamale. They work from Monday to Friday at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays, and 10 a.m. to 12 noon on public holidays. They have amazing packages for corporate organizations. You can get their numbers on the screen to reach out on them. They are on the Satnagu Road, 400 meters north of the stadium roundabout. When you are on your way to Satnagu, before you get to the education office, they are on their left. Get in touch with them. And also to Savannah International Academy. If you are looking for a school that gives you amazing tuition for your children or your wards, please speak with Savannah International Academy and they'll give you nothing but the best. You can get their details as well on the screen. Yeah, so let's continue with the foods that we were mentioning.
So we were at the animal source protein side. So once you are able to get amani, which is one of the most commonest that we can get, you are able to leave some 2 or 3 in there on your meal. Then you would have realized that your bowl of TZ and ayoyo TZ and Vera becomes a 4-star diet.
Okay.
Okay. But in there, you realize that the fruit is missing because you cannot put the fruit in the soup. So you will be required that after you have taken the meal, the bowl of TZ and Vera, you will then go for your fruits.
The common fruits we see are mango,
Watermelon, orange,
apples,
banana.
yeah.
Yes, you go for
So yes, before we move a bit further, I think you focused a bit on the food around here in the northern region. But let's look at food that are maybe people in the south that can easily eat when they are pregnant. Is it fufu? Is it contemporary or yam? Let's just look at
Yes,
that a
so
bit and we go
let's
forward.
take an example of a typical southern meal.
Yeah.
Fufu.
Okay.
Okay. So fufu, our staple, we have the plantain or the cassava in there. So we are sorted with the staple star. Then the soup. I know they normally would do either a benkwine,
Light
katankwine,
katankonto.
katinkonto. So let's take katinkonto. Okay. Now the nkatie, the granite is coming from the legumes.
Okay.
Okay. The kontomire is coming from the vegetable, little vegetable.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Then for them, the sea is just by them.
They have a lot of fish.
They have a lot of fish.
Especially from the Volta
Coastal
side.
areas, yes. So the fish will not be a problem, but that doesn't mean that there are families that don't have challenges here. So I always will go for the source of protein that is easily available, the amane. Amane is easily available regardless of the interior nature of
Yeah,
the
bushmeat
community.
too is quite.
Bushmeat is equally there, but I understand wildlife is saying we shouldn't eat
They are
we
doing a
shouldn't
campaign
overharvest
for them. We'll think
the
about it.
bushmeat. Yes, so okay. So if we have the contemporary from the vegetables, then we have our amane from the animal source. You realize that fufu katikonto with some amane inside is a 4-star diet. Okay. Then the fruit is missing. So once you are done, then you go for a fruit of your choice.
Okay.
So pineapple, pawpaw, watermelon, mango,
Okay.
whichever is available, you go for that. So eating a balanced diet or a variety of meals should not be something that should be viewed as very complex and difficult to come by.
Or like you're a rich person,
Yes,
that is why
no.
you are eating well.
You see, what we normally focus on is in the extra. We are looking at having 3 to 4 pieces of meat on the food to suggest that that is a good meal. Okay. No. 1 piece at most. Because when you take 3 to 4, that's excess for that time. The body would store it in the form of fat.
Yeah.
Oye kesia, na afede o complain say maye kese dodo. You get me? We are not physically active. But you realize that in pregnancy, you equally have to remain physically active so that when it's time for you to push, it doesn't become difficult for you. You get it? Because you will need a lot of energy at that time, you know. And as the fetus is growing, the weight, you know, it begins to increase in weight, and you will need a lot of energy to carry yourself from one place to the other. You get it?
Okay,
Yes.
so we have come to understand that you shouldn't spend so much if you really want to eat well. So I want us now to look at. I asked a question. I think you lost track on that. You spoke about the various school of thought. I believe that people watching me might have heard something about that. That if you are O positive, or you have to eat this, you have to eat that. But basically, what can you tell us to understand that it doesn't matter? Maybe using the various school of thought that we should eat the right proportion and not just follow our
blood group.
yes. So let me come to Jennifer on that. Just show a bit light on that, and Madam Felicia will come on that.
So for the blood type diet, as Madam Felicia said, it doesn't really have to. You don't really have to. All that matters is that you have to eat well.
Okay.
You don't have to check your blood type before you decide whether you want to eat well or not.
Okay.
Because there's no evidence, there's no scientific evidence from one side of research says that there's no evidence that your blood type has anything to do with what you eat. And another is saying, so right now there are two contradicting researches that have come out right now. So all you have to do is what? Eat very well. You eat your 4-star diet. You eat from each food group and at the right proportion. You don't just
I was coming to that. You said that we add a meal like 4 times. So what if you want to eat more than 4 times? Can you eat more than 4 times?
Sure.
Okay.
But you need to be cautious.
Don't overeat too.
Yes.
Okay.
So you see, it's eating smaller amounts over a period of time within the day.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Because if you load a bowl of fufu right now, in 3 to 4 hours, you realize that you start feeling hungry again, and you go for another heavy bowl.
And we say that baby is eating the food we have.
So you see, we spread it.
Yeah.
Just a little amount at a time. If not, you would be after the pregnancy, you would have gained so much weight that it becomes difficult for you to shed it. I get me. Weight is important when it in pregnancy. So when you come early, before 8 weeks, when you come before 8 weeks, we are able to take your height and your weight, okay, to assess you for the that's called the body mass index for the early pregnancy. Okay.
Okay.
Then we know, okay, for you, your weight is okay. You only need this amount of weight in addition to take you through the pregnancy. So depending on your BMI classification, there is a weight range that you can add up, okay, whilst you are eating and you are putting on weight. Once it starts exceeding that, then it becomes a threat to the pregnancy.
This conversation is going bigger than intended. I think we have to have a long conversation. Let's look at what husbands have to do. My favorite parts, so that the future husbands in this studio, those sitting and listening to us, they will learn a thing or two, so that when their wives get pregnant, they won't say they didn't know, because I'll refer them to this video. So just take us through that briefly, and then we'll see how the discussion continues.
Family support is very, very important, especially husbands. Realize that many husbands.
Say that again.
I said family support is important in pregnancy, especially husbands. They form a very key role in pregnancy. You kept the seed there. You must take interest in the development of that fetus. Don't allow the woman alone to carry the pregnancy. Go to the hospital by herself. She's the one that has to, struggle around what I should eat. Sometimes you crave for certain foods, or the foods that you used to enjoy, you no longer enjoy them. Your husband needs to understand that it's a process and give you that support. But many a times, the woman is left alone carrying the pregnancy. She comes to the facility, hears the information, goes back, and how to implement it becomes a challenge, because the husband thinks that she's only using the pregnancy as care of, to begin to eat. In my dialect, we say normal me, like akonakonode. I get me. She's taking advantage just to create holes in your pocket. But it is the pregnancy that demands that she gets an extra meal, that demands that she gets animal source proteins, which is mostly lacking. So if husbands should follow their wives to the hospitals, in the nutrition counseling, we will counsel both of you
Okay.
so that you would reach agreements
Okay.
with you, depending on your need, what the two of you agree to go and do, so that in your next visit we build on that. Counseling is not a one-time event, it's a continuous process.
Okay.
So we take you through step by step till your pregnancy.
The conversation is getting so interesting, and we are about to continue the discussion, but I believe that for the time for this episode is up. We'll continue the discussion and we'll bring you the part 2 of nutrition and pregnancy, or pregnancy and nutrition, however way you want to put it, next week. So join us same time next week for the part 2 of this discussion. And I believe that the part 1 have really served you so much, and you, before you watch the next episode, you should have been able to put into practice what we have said. If you suspect you are pregnant or you are pregnant and you haven't been to the hospital, please do so. If you are not eating well and you think that, oh, it is a loss of appetite, please go to the hospital, see a midwife, see a nutritionist. If you are unable to really understand what and what you have to eat, go and see the nutritionist. Next week, we'll be looking at malnutrition, some of the food you have to avoid, some of the symptoms you see or you feel, to know that, oh, this thing is like I'm having a deficiency in this kind of maybe protein or this food in me. I need to see the nutritionist. We'll be looking at all of that, but we can't have all of these in just an episode. So thank you for watching the first part of this. Same time next week, we'll bring you the second part. Do stay tuned.